This season, New York Fashion Week was a revolutionary one for size diversity. Overall, Glamour counted 208 appearances by models above sample size, a number largely inflated by the presence of three major plus-size brands. Canadian retailer Edition L debuted its latest collaboration with Ashley Graham, as well as a capsule with model Jordan Woods at Skylight Clarkson Square, one of the week's official venues. Fast fashion brand Torrid also presented at Skylight, and subscription service Dia & Company hosted its show as part of CurvyCon, a size-inclusive fashion conference happening concurrently to Knife Progress. Yes, but as an editor who spends half of her time in the realm of high fashion and the other half in the world of plus-size fashion, I can tell you that the disconnect between these shows and the rest of New York Fashion Week was real. Although 2 of 3 plus-specific brands showed at the same venue where Prabal Gurung and Anna Sui presented their Spring 2018 collections, had top hair and makeup teams, and cast well-known models like Graham, Precious Lee, and Georgia Pratt, all 3 were left off the official schedule, which is manned by the Council of Fashion Designers of America, CFDA. The fact is, anyone can host an event between September 7th and 13th in New York and say it's part of Fashion Week. But to be accepted onto the verified schedule is quite exclusive. It's a technicality, but it's one that's important to signal legitimacy and acceptance, and to get the industry to show up. When I called the CFDA hear their reasoning behind the brand's exclusion, Mark Karimzadeh, the organization's editorial and communications director, told me that neither Edition L, Torrid, nor Dia & Company applied to be on the schedule. Translation: it's not on the CFDA. But if you're a realist like me, you're probably thinking, even if those plus-sized brands did apply, it's not likely any of the 3 would be accepted. Typically, we don't put designers who haven't shown before on it, says Karimzadeh of the official schedule. We didn't even for Cés Marion. Fashion fans know that the CFDA not giving Cés Marion, a buzzy line designed by Dries Van Noten's ex-designer and was nominated for the Swarovski Award for Emerging Talent at the organization's very own award show this year, a spot on its schedule is pretty nuts. There are various factors that contribute to qualification, says Karimzadeh. Among them, 2 years in business, an active list of wholesale accounts, inclusion in editorial coverage, and the toughest factor for fast fashion and mass-market brands, the quality of the goods. In order to have credibility, you have to have a product that can stand with the best of other designers, says Karimzadeh, though the CFDA wouldn't go into specifics as to what that entailed. If you're a believer in true integration for straight and plus-size clothing, the CFDA's stance is kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's hard to see how a plus-size brand's garments would ever compare to a label like Cés Marion, given the systemic issues facing plus-size clothing, like lack of design education, absence of resources like bigger mannequins and looms, low price points, and other challenges in achieving the correct fit for a diverse set of bodies. And on the other, it's refreshing to hear Karimzadeh hold mass-market plus-size brands to the same standard as a one-time Dries Van Noten designer. But this really isn't about the CFDA, it's about the Edition L, Torrid, and Dia & Company, and I wanted to know what they thought about the disconnect. So what did their brand representatives say when I asked if they cared about being excluded from the official schedule? For the most part, they did. Each of the women said that the shows they hosted weren't for buyers or to gain access to fashion's inner circle, but for their customers. The plus-size community has been ready for a long time to participate in Fashion Week, says Nadia Buyarwa, co-founder of Dia & Company, and we are doing our part to make sure that's possible for her. Read on to find out what else motivated their shows and why, for them, the customer is queen. Dia & Company, community first, then clothes. The first plus-size brand to host a fashion show during NYF was Dia & Company, which presented during CurvyCon. The convention, organized by bloggers Chastity Garner and Cece Alisa, billed itself as a 2-day event that brings plus-size brands, fashionistas, shopaholics, bloggers and YouTubers into one space to chat curvy, shop curvy, and embrace curvy. For its runway debut, Dia and company recruited some well-known plus-size models, including Marquita Pring. "There's a strong sense of community," Pring said backstage. "Everybody's so excited to be here. And we're all here for the same reason, to put curves out there. The energy is infectious." The good vibes atmosphere was refreshingly palpable. As models made their way down the runway, the crowd cheered and called